That's right, Bashful Brandon reviews are back, bros and bitches. If you thought my series was cancelled, well, I don't blame you. I've taken another dive into the DS shovelware pool. I guess you could say I'm sort of attracted to garbage at this point. That's kinda sad. Anyways, George of the Jungle and The Search for the Secret is a Nintendo DS game released in 2008. Based on the successful Canadian cartoon released a year earlier in 2007. So first of all, let me apologize on behalf of all Canadians for allowing this crap to exist. Ugh, I'm really sorry about this. Like, seriously, half of the cartoons made in or partially made in Canada were stupid shows like this, and since most TV channels over here are required by law to show a certain amount of Canadian content, most of the time you would see crap like this, with a few exceptions. And if you weren't watching these types of shows, you were looking at really weird video game cartoons, oh yeah, we're responsible for these as well. Like the two other Deke Mario cartoons, Sonic Blunderground, and that really weird CGI motion capture Donkey Kong Country series. Although at least the Donkey Kong Country show gave us the greatest Donkey Kong character ever, Kung Fu, who was voiced by Richard Newman. You know, the same guy who voiced M. Bison in the Street Fighter cartoon.
Which should be any moment now.
Which was also a Canadian production. You see what I mean now? What were we talking about again? Oh yeah, this stupid show. Now I definitely remember watching reruns of this show from when I was a kid, but all I remember from it is the theme song, which despite the fact that it's a corny rap song, for some reason it just works with this show. Now I won't comment much more on the actual show, however, I will talk about these character designs. They're not very good. George has the same face as Mr. Turner from The Fairly Odd Parents and probably has the same IQ as him. Ape has, for lack of a better phrase, Homer Simpson mouth. Magnolia has a tree trunk for a neck. And Ursula has this really weird looking Sonic ring around her shorts that you'd think would be where the drawstrings come out of, but it isn't. It's just sort of there for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, on to the game, and before you ask, yes, I know there is a PS2 and Wii version of this game, but we're looking at the DS one because I haven't seen anyone actually review this one yet, so I'm gonna be the first. Alright, so we open on a pretty bland-looking title screen with the show's main theme playing endlessly on a loop. Boring, yes, but they were probably saving space for the actual game itself. Opening cutscene time! I mean bland clip art slideshow. Again, it was Nintendo DS, but come on, you could have at least added some voice acting instead of this farty-ass music. So anyways, we have Dr. Scott and this old coot giving George a checkup. Fun fact, this old coot is voiced by Brian Drummond, who played Vegeta in the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z. Anyways, it looks like Georgie has to pay up for his checkup, and we're off into the game. Wow. I mean, wow. Look at them. This came out in 2008. 2008. Talk about not being a looker, this could pass as a Game Boy Advance or even Sega Mega Drive game. Just look at Jorge over here, his eyes are barely even visible. And the gameplay, well, that ain't too good either. For some reason we're collecting eggs. Eggs? Why eggs? Does George think that if he eats 5 dozen of them every day he'll become roughly the size of a barge? Because newsflash, you're as thin and scrawny as me, and that ain't no compliment, so back off. As for the controls, they blow as well. Instead of satisfyingly slowly gaining momentum, kinda like that one other platformer you may have heard of before, you just have a run button that makes you run at a leisurely jog. Jumping doesn't really give you any distance at all, even while running. And ducking is done by pressing X, not down, X. The down button, by the way, does absolutely nothing, so they could have done it the right way, but they did it the wrong way. What a stupid controlling method. Collectibles are the previously mentioned eggs, but you also have these different colored bananas that can either restore health, make you temporarily invincible, or act as an attack. I never really found a use for these things because the levels are so short and for some reason they give you an obscene amount of health, but hey, I'm not complaining. After jumping on these stupid ass butt monkeys, we are thrusted into level 2. Georgie and Ape get chased by some bees after stealing their honey and end up in their hive. But if they were trying to escape the bees, then why would they head to their hideout? That doesn't make any sense. Oh well, why should I question the logic of Ape Man? I would question the ethics of George killing possibly endangered bee species, but I will not because these bees are fictional, so who cares? Spliced in between levels are these mini-games utilizing the touchscreen, like this one where you shoot the bees with honey. Cool. It's boring and it goes on for way too long. Next! We're quickly thrown into this African safari level, and all I have to say about this one is that I beat it on my first try. Immediately after, we have to feed this hungry lion with fruit. This one is super annoying to complete because the hitbox on the lion is smaller than my chances of success on YouTube. And this crocodile asshole gets in the way of everything. I hate you! Anyways, nightfall hits and another easy stage is passed. And after getting stuck in a bird's nest because George is a moron, we have Tukey come to the rescue in an auto-scrolling shoot-em-up. This minigame uses the DS's two whole screens in a clever but not all unique way where the top screen helps you see what's up ahead. It's not all that hard because the obstacles are only on the right side of the screen, so just stay on the left and you goody. For some reason, we're now in an icy wonderland full of Angry Birds rejects and Jeffrey the Giraffe. Can you tell that I'm running out of things to say about these levels? 'Cause I am. Another easy shmup, and we're at a very similar looking level to the third one. Okay, this is the level that really highlights how garbage the controls are, as this specific jump is nearly impossible because of George's pathetic leap. And the fact that he falls as fast as Mega Man does in the first Mega Man game. Alright, it is time for a quote-unquote boss fight. And if you were expecting anything special from this boss fight, then I'm sure you're a very well-adjusted human being who confuses eggs for rocks. Okay, so this game hasn't really been that difficult aside from the two examples that I have already given. However, I have to give them credit for making this part insanely difficult. Screw this boss fight, man. It is actually way harder than it looks. I lost several times. Maybe it's because I was playing on an emulator, but the controls were so unresponsive, I literally thought the game was broken. But then I realized that no, it's not broken, it's just stiff and awful. But after several attempts, I had finally given that stupid, ungrateful bird arsehole her stupid eggs, while still not knowing what the hell the secret even is. I guess the fact that the rocks aren't eggs is the secret, even though the European title drops the secret part and simply calls the game George of the Jungle. I guess they knew how dumb of a plot this was over in PAL territory. And it's over? I thought that was all just the first world, but that's it? That barely lasted an hour. Now, before you all jump to conclusions, I just want to preface by saying that I don't hate a game just because it's based on a licensed property. In fact, there are plenty of great examples of licensed games on portable consoles, like SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, Cars 2 the video game, and the LEGO games on DS. These are good, this isn't. Hell, some of the LEGO games on DS also had touchscreen minigames in addition to the main game, and they weren't forced down my gullet. I haven't mentioned it yet, but this game is obviously inspired by the Donkey Kong Country series. I mean, it hits all the beats, like the animal buddies, the colored bananas, and even the stupid final bird boss. Kind of. All you have to do is add Ape as a second partner, and you'd have Donkey Kong Country. Well, minus the good, of course. Which wouldn't have been too bad, because you have to keep in mind that this game came out 2 years before the Kongster would properly return to his 2D platforming roots, as he was still stuck in a spin-off fueled rut with games like Donkey Kong Barrel Blast. And I think if they focused on bettering the actual levels and gameplay instead of dedicating half of the game's painfully short playtime to crappy minigames, it would have at least been okay. I will confide and say that this game is light years ahead of that piece of trash pack game.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
But is that really worth putting on the back of the box? I don't think so. Wait a second. Was this game released on April Fool's Day? Well, guess the joke's on me. I guess I must go and reclaim my rightful place in the garbage after that blunder. Bye.